So I'm going to draw a landscape, and I'm going to be using hatching and cross-hatching lines. So I drew a circle by tracing the template, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a couple of diagonal lines from one side to the other, or you can also say it's like a zigzag. And then I'm going to draw a straight line. So this is the horizon line. Now up here, you can go ahead and draw whatever you like. I'm just going to draw a half circle to represent the sun. And then down here, I'm going to make another curved line, and that's going to be the water. Right about here, I'd like to make a couple of trees, so I'm just going to go ahead and draw a couple of lines, straight lines, vertical lines, and I'm actually going to make some pine trees. And the way you make them is you go ahead and just draw some curved lines here and there, and you're going to do that to all your trees. Now you don't have to make a pine tree. If you want to make a regular tree, it's just a matter of making Ys. And then you go in there and just add kind of a curved line, and you've got yourself a regular tree. Don't forget your Ys. I'm going to make 3 of them on this side. And on this side I'm going to have some pine trees. I'm going to make this one a little bit taller. And when we draw, basically, especially with a Sharpie marker, we can say that I'm just making artistic lines. I'm making a mark. So all of a sudden I am a mark maker and not a shape maker. I'm making marks. Sometimes I make shapes, sometimes I make marks. And I'm done with the drawing. After I do the drawing, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some hatching lines. And hatching lines are just lines that I draw on my paper to represent value. And I'm just going to make them closer together in some areas, and then in other areas I can make them further apart. So the closer the lines are, the more intense or darker your color is going to be. The further apart your lines are, the lighter the color is going to be. So I'm just going to continue to do some hatching. And then I can do some cross hatching. So I'm just crossing those lines. Now on this line I just made hatching lines here, and then here, since this is water, I'm just going to go ahead and make some curved lines to represent the movement of water. Don't forget, once again, the closer I make them, the darker the area is going to look. I think we're good. Now when I get to the sun, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use stippling. And stippling is dots. I'm just making dots, and again, the further apart those dots are, the lighter the color is going to look. The closer the dots are, the darker it's going to look. And I will do that on the whole sun. For the trees, I can just go ahead and make little marks to represent leaves, and I'm just curving it a little bit. Or I can fill in some areas with some squiggly lines. And then at the top, I think I'll make a couple of birds, and it's just the letter V. Good. And I'm all done. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some watercolor washes. I'm using watercolor, and the first thing you want to do is you want to put a little drop or two in every well, and then I'm going to start doing my painting. I like to actually paint with water first, do a small area, and then I'm going to quickly get a little bit of blue. Notice that I'm working super fast. And I just drop the water in, add more water, and I'm good to go. I'm just using the tip of my brush. I am using water to move that paint around. So watercolor is very cool. It can be done very, very quickly. Water first, add the paint, let the paint flow where it wants to go. Now I'm going right over the trees because the green will cover the blue, or it'll blend and make kind of a greenish blue, which is okay. I'm being super careful, working super fast. Don't go over a certain area more than 3 times, okay? Now I think I'm going to leave the sun for after the sky is dry, and I'm just going to go ahead and add like a grass. Just going to use water to move it around. So you put the paint down and then you dip the water, get more water, and just spread that around. You can work pretty fast. If you go off of your circle, don't worry, because we're going to be cutting them out. There you go. And then I'm going to do a little bit of gray mount. I'm going to make the mountains gray. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some water to my mountain, get a little bit of black, add it in, and then just move the black around, add more water, and I should be able to get something like a gray. Notice I'm going right over my trees once again. I'm not too worried about that because this is a transparent black. Try to stay away from where you can, but if it goes into an area that you don't want, don't worry about it. Okay, looks good. And now I'm going to come to the water here. Just quickly going to add a very, very clear wash. And I've gotten off my circle. I'm not worried about that. Just add a little more. Let the paint flow where it wants to go. And last but not least, I'm going to do the sun. Just going to add that yellow in there. And then I can add the green to my trees. Add the color, spread it around with water. If you find that something is too wet, you can always take a paper towel and just blot it out. And that's it.